AWB's 2021 Manufacturing Week is presented by Primera.
Our enterprise solutions would cut your monthly operational costs in half. Taylor, it would pay for itself in 6 months. So, what do you think? One more time. I'll go one more time.
Your employees work hard for you. Give them a health plan that works harder for them. From Primera Blue Cross, with more options to fit your business needs and budget. Because your employees depend on it. Find your plan at business.primera.com.
Hello and welcome on in to the 2021 Manufacturing Week Bus Tour. Today is National Manufacturing Day and we're so honored to be a part of this 10th annual celebration. Last year we celebrated manufacturers with a TV show. This year, the bus is back. We'll be celebrating manufacturers all across the state of Washington. And man, do we have some great memories, from GM nameplate in Seattle, a Tier 1 award winner multiple times to the Boeing Company, or Manhasset Specialty Products, located in Yakima, Washington, a great producer of music stands, to Write in the Rain, a durable paper product that, yes, you can write on it in the rain, to Pocock Racing Shells. If you've read the book Boys in the Boats, you know how cool Pocock Racing Shells are. SGL Automotive in Moses Lake, or Genie Industries here in Puget Sound, or Inland Empire Paper, a great recycler in Spokane, Washington. Watson Furniture up on the peninsula, or Columbia Pulp in Dayton, or Renaissance Marine in Clarkston, Washington. Stemelt Growers in Wenatchee, or Vaughan Timbers up in Colville. To kick things off, I am so honored that the President and CEO of NAM could join us today, Jay Timmons. Jay is a stalwart champion for manufacturing all across this great country. And he sent me some swag, and I'm looking forward to taking it with me on the road. Welcome in, Jay. It is great to have Jay Timmons with us today. Jay is the President and CEO of the National Association of Manufacturers. Welcome to Manufacturing Day. Jay, we're so glad to have you with us.
Thanks, Chris. It's great to be here, as always, working with you and all the great people in the state of Washington.
Hey, Jay, give us a brief overview about National Manufacturing Day.
Yeah, sure. Happy to. So Manufacturing Day, or we've shorthanded it as MFG Day, it is our industry's annual set of events that we center around usually the first Friday of October, but also throughout the month. The more entrepreneurial and forward-thinking leaders in our industry actually make it much longer than one day, much like you and your team. And what it does is it puts a spotlight on the people who make things in America. And it's an initiative of the Manufacturing Institute, and the Institute is the workforce development and education partner of the NAM. So MFG Day gives really thousands of manufacturers a chance to kind of show off and show how cool manufacturing is. They open their doors and they allow students and parents and teachers and community leaders to experience the reality of modern manufacturing. We like to do those things in person, obviously, in a situation where you have a worldwide pandemic. Sometimes that's not possible. So we've seen kind of a hybrid where we have some in-person activities that are very, very safe and with appropriate health protocols in place. And then we have some virtual events as well. And by and large, these events, you provide immersive looks at shop floors, at plants, factories, and most importantly, the people who work in them. So young people become much more excited about careers in the industry when they get to experience it firsthand. So MFG Day is all about changing the way people think about our industry and to inspire and educate and empower the next generation of manufacturing team members.
Jay, we certainly heard going into the pandemic that one of the biggest challenges facing manufacturers was around finding a skilled, trained, educated workforce. Can you maybe talk about, that's really even maybe a brighter spotlight today than ever, about how important that is, and maybe talk a little bit about some of the strategies the NAM is working on in that regard.
Yeah, so before we came into the pandemic, Chris, as you're well aware, there were somewhere between 300,000 and 500,000 open jobs in manufacturing, jobs that pay better than any other sector of the economy, as a matter of fact. Yet we had a perception problem. As we are now kind of hopefully pulling out of the pandemic, we find ourselves with over 800,000, almost 900,000 open jobs in manufacturing. MFG Day and Creators Wanted are really critical to manufacturers' effort to overcome that skills gap. Overall, by the end of this decade, Chris, we're going to need to fill more than 4 million jobs in manufacturing. And if we don't change hiring and retention strategies, over 2 million of those jobs are going to go unfilled. So MFG Day is largely about getting younger generations engaged and aware of the opportunities that exist in our industry. We're looking to change perceptions. We're looking to generate excitement and give millions of young people their first look at the opportunities that are available in modern manufacturing.
Jay, I think it's the very reason we heard your call and go out for a 10-day period of time talking about how important manufacturing jobs are in the state of Washington. This is our mini bus, where we get a great chance to talk about manufacturing being alive in every county in the state of Washington.
Yes,
there's 300,000 men and women every day who go to work to make something that gets shipped all across the United States, and for that matter, all across the globe. Washington is the most trade-driven state of the 50 states, and we're proud that we make great products and send them across the world. But the other part's so key that you mentioned, which is how we connect to young people to talk about this isn't just a job. These are great careers for tomorrow. And this is your opportunity to get skilled up and get ready to go into those careers. Talk a little bit, maybe if you might be what might be something that might surprise a young person about these amazing careers that exist in manufacturing.
Well, I have to say your bus is famous across the United States. Every other state wants to copy what you're doing because it's got a lot of sizzle to the tour. So and to the focus on manufacturing. I did mention that one of the goals of MFG Day is to change perceptions about modern manufacturing. And that's because younger generations often don't realize that our industry is high tech. Manufacturers depend on advanced technologies and digitization to make increasingly sophisticated products. Robots and cobots, smart technologies, augmented and virtual reality. These advances are quite frankly quickly becoming the norm on shop floors and in plants. So I think young people might be surprised to learn that skills that come naturally to their generation, like using smartphones and other digital technologies, STEM aptitude, if you will, that's going to make them well prepared for what it's like to be on a 21st century manufacturing team.
Jay, if I think about a sector that has been so critically important during the pandemic, it's certainly been manufacturers, from pivoting to make PPE, something that we never even thought about, 2 years ago, that's now part of our everyday life, to going in an 18-month period of time to going from concept to having vaccines to put into people's arms to win this pandemic. Talk about how impressed you have been with how manufacturers have led their communities, led their workforce, and led our country during this pandemic.
One of the messages that I've delivered to folks who are trying to figure out what they want to do with their lives and their careers is, well, if you want to save the world, come look at manufacturing, because literally manufacturing is in the process of saving the world. And I've been saying this since the start of the pandemic. Manufacturers in the United States have proved that our industry was made for this. We rose to the challenge, just like, if you're reading history books, manufacturing was called the arsenal of democracy during World War II. Well, we've been the arsenal of health during the pandemic, from PPE, as you mentioned, to vaccines, to the products that families depend on. We've been front and center in the pandemic response, as well as the recovery that we're experiencing right now.
Jay, the Washington State Legislature this past session passed a bill that we were really excited about, and that's a goal to double the number of manufacturing jobs, number of manufacturing companies, and the number of minority-owned manufacturing companies in the state of Washington. What would that mean to our country if we had a goal and we were able to accomplish doubling the footprint and the size and scope of manufacturing throughout the U.S.?
I have a feeling AWB had a little bit to do with that bill. So thank you for all the great work that AWB does on the advocacy front. For every $1 spent in manufacturing, another $2.79 is added to the economy. That is the highest multiplier effect of any economic sector. That's rocket fuel for the economy. And here's another statistic. If we increase the number of women in the manufacturing workforce by 10%, we can close that skills gap, that number of jobs we have to fill, by half. We've got to do a better job at showing women what great career options there are in manufacturing, because only 29% of the workforce right now is female, and we need to get that number up. And through events like MFG Day and campaigns like Creators Wanted, we're building talent pipelines that welcome underrepresented communities in our industry too. And that includes women, people of color, former military. It includes second chance hiring. We can't afford to ignore any of those talent pools.
Jay, if you're a young person hearing this message today and they could go to one place or do one thing to find out more about the great careers of tomorrow, where should they go?
So I would invite young people, I would invite their parents or educators to go to creatorswanted.org. That's creatorswanted.org. And there they can access resources and information, news, insights on how to get started on a manufacturing career and how to take part in MFG Day events, as well as some upcoming Creators Wanted events that I think will be even more exciting and give young people an idea of what opportunities are available in manufacturing. We're adding new resources every day, Chris, because we want to make sure that young people can find their well-paying career in modern manufacturing.
Thank you, Jay. We look forward to hitting the road for the next 6 days to highlight how important the manufacturing sector is to Washington's economy and celebrating the 300,000 women and men who every day go to work for a manufacturer in the state of Washington. Thanks for being with us.
Absolutely, Chris. And I hope to see you on the road ahead. See what I did
Thanks,
there?
Jay. Hey, Jay, thanks for that great message. And we appreciate you and the entire team's support from the NAM. Now let's take a quick look at who's making this bus trip possible. Many thanks to our friends at Primera, the Boeing Company, Amazon, Cascade Natural Gas, Avista Corporation, Walmart, Alaska Air, Mattel, Google, Swire Coca-Cola, and Banner Bank. For students, when I think about the careers of today and tomorrow, these are awesome jobs. Awesome jobs that provide you with the means to buy a home, start a family, maybe buy a toy like an F-150, or make a difference in the community that you call home. Let's take a quick look at why students are so excited about the careers of today and tomorrow in manufacturing.
So I've had an agricultural background my whole life, and I started in an ag mechanics class my freshman year, and C-Tech was a very appealing thing to me to expand my knowledge in welding and manufacturing.
Sophomore year, I had no idea what I wanted to do after high school. And as soon as I walked into that classroom with all the big exciting tools and all the machinery and seeing all the students working on projects, I knew I wanted to do that.
I'm primarily interested in how automation is going to play a major role in the development and kind of reshoring of American manufacturing.
I've been interested in welding and manufacturing and just building stuff for majority of my life. And there was an opportunity to do that while in high school, and I took advantage as soon as I could.
The program has prepared me for my life after school in a lot of ways. Most importantly, it has taught me the skills needed to function in a manufacturing program. I came in knowing basically nothing about tools or anything like that. And then so that program has taught me how to actually do things.
My instructor, he would go around to all of the businesses and companies, and he'd figure out what they require out of one of their employees. And so he'd teach us that directly. Just having that information of knowing what they want before I even apply was really helpful.
My school prepared me for a career in the manufacturing field, primarily through a focus on hands-on application, project-based, a fair amount of computer programming, fixtures and workflow, how to integrate robotics with existing machinery.
After graduating, I was hoping to just find a job, work for a few years, and save up money so then I can go to the underwater welding school in the Seattle area. And then after that school, hopefully go down to Texas and do some underwater welding for 5-ish years. And then after that, just go into aviation.
After graduation, I plan to pursue a career primarily in automation integration, so working with industrial robotics to automate manufacturing processes.
So for me, my ideal future is either joining a local business as a welder or going into a union in Washington State and doing that for a couple of years.
I'm hoping to get into the aerospace industry. And then as I work in that industry, I find a specific area that I wish to specialize in. And then I go obtain that training and the credentials needed to specialize in that area.
Because of the skill gap that exists in the US, we actually have a kind of unique opportunity for fairly rapid advancement in the space, regardless of where you are. Almost all industries that I'm aware of are desperately looking for people. The compensation only seems to be growing.
It's a really promising career. You can get a lot of jobs out of it. You can get a lot of money out of it, a lot of opportunities.
If you have a skill center at your school or your local area, go talk to your instructors. If there's not, you should go to a local union and ask about any sort of apprenticeship programs or training program and just see what all your options are.
Listen to your instructor. They know what they're talking about, and just pay attention. If you want to be there, then you'll learn everything you need.
Man, it was great to hear the passion from those students about their excitement in working in a manufacturing career. Speaking of, let's go to Spokane, Washington to visit Wagstaff. Wagstaff has 2 best-of-class programs that are about filling the manufacturing pipeline of talent. They also happen to be the 2020 Achieve Award winner for manufacturing excellence.
So right now we're at Wagstaff Incorporated. We're at the headquarters in Spokane Valley, Washington. Wagstaff is a manufacturing and engineering firm, and we build equipment for the aluminum industry worldwide. Our equipment allows our producers to take aluminum from a liquid state and solidify it into a solid form. The state of manufacturing in Washington, I think, is not a lot different than other states around the nation. We are in need of skilled labor around the state. We've got to help the up-and-coming generation see what there is out there. In a lot of cases, they aren't aware of what those positions are in manufacturing and the things that really can be very enjoyable, very rewarding, very challenging for people to be involved in manufacturing. So we have a task of educating the up-and-coming workforce of what those positions are and how it can help them in their future. So over the last 3 years, Wagstaff has been very involved in the middle school and high school level of education. In 2019, Wagstaff launched an inaugural, what we call Production Manufacturing Academy. And this academy is for incoming high school juniors and seniors. We can take a group of up to 20 students where we involve them in a 3-week, very intensive course that helps them see manufacturing from end to end and help them understand that manufacturing is much more than just coming up with a product and building it. In addition to that, when you go into manufacturing, there are numerous other positions that are created that people can fill in those positions. And so it's a matter of educating the students and really the general population on all of the careers that are possible in the manufacturing industry. In addition to that, Wagstaff also participates with other area businesses in something called Business After School. It's a much larger event where we involve both middle school and high school students from the area. We bring them here to Wagstaff, we break them into smaller groups and run them through stations that, again, expose them to different facets of manufacturing. We give them some exposure in terms of explaining what it is and then some actually hands-on involvement in putting some pieces together and learning what it takes to assemble and test product. They have to see it, they have to feel it, they have to be a part of it. So we bring them in, We have things where they can do hands-on and they can work with it and they can understand that it's exciting, it's thriving, it's growing, and they can be a part of it. I am so happy to be a part of the Wagstaff team that is helping educate the up-and-coming generation on the excitement of manufacturing.
What a great look at the 2 talent pipeline programs that Wagstaff is doing. Now let's head to Vancouver and take a look at a really cool program being done by SCH America.
How would you describe SCH America?
I would say motivational.
They're very personal.
It's hard to have a bad day, honestly. You can't have a bad day for very long. It's too tiring.
I definitely think that SCH is pretty good about the way it was advertised. It was pretty much seemed pretty open to everyone.
What people can get themselves out of the intern program is experience in a production environment, experience of working with teams.
Learning how to be in a professional environment, because I did not know how to do that.
What I like about the SCH program is its emphasis on mentorship.
It teaches you so many different things that school settings don't teach you.
The opportunity to work with folks who are still in high school gives us a chance to see what's really going on out there. Who are these folks that are coming out of high school?
I think SCH definitely opens up your eyes to being out in the workforce and potentially seeing maybe, do I want to pursue something more beyond my high school journey?
My job's amazing. Like, I've never not wanted to come into work.
SCH America, where you can come to learn.
What a great first day of the AWB 2021 Manufacturing Tour. Hey, do us a favor, help share the great news and the great story you heard today. Simply use the following hashtags: 2X, MFG in WA, MFG is WA, or I signed the bus. What a great first day. Look forward to seeing you on Monday.
To us, watching the signs along the way, talking it over, just the two of us, working together day to day, together. And when the evening comes, we smile. Of life ahead, we'll find a place where there's room to grow.